Candice, it is great to get the opportunity to sit down again, but we'll get into it very quickly. But I hope you're doing well and ready to continue our series with some good insights.
Michelle, I am excited too, and I love that we're involving the team in this because it adds another element of relatability, which I really do love.
Yeah, I think, just going back to what we originally set out to do was to make it relatable, to unpack it to its most basic form, and a lot of that is how are we actually implementing all of this in our day-to-day lives, and what is the team doing? How does it resonate with them? Obviously, our previous video, we really got stuck in with communication. And if I think of, sort of what we were looking at, that was very much the nature of the message. So how are we, what's the ideal way to construct this message to get it across in the most user-friendly, does the receiver understand the message? But that's just one element to communication. And I think if I were to categorize this video, we're kind of looking at the timing of communication as well, because there's a sweet spot to be found there too. I think it's not just about how are we putting together the message, but in particular in our business, time is money, and obviously the deadlines are abound, and we need to get the information out as quick as possible. So I think, it's delving into that, and where in particular, for us, we've got the 24-hour rule. There's quite a few parts that we have to ensure that we are continuously getting the information across. But I think, it is worth speaking about because it is such an integral part of keeping the cogs turning here.
Absolutely, especially where we're working in remote work environments. It is a key ingredient to our recipe.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Staying with the emails now, communication, we've looked at making sure it's concise, making sure that you can see straight off the bat what it relates to. We've spoken about the why are we sending this particular email, but I think the other, and this is something that, is probably one of the most significant, let's say if it were a pillar, it would be one of the most significant pillars, and that's the 24-hour turnaround rule. As old as Protea is, the 24-hour turnaround rule.
And that should be Protea's claims of fame, because it's monumental, right?
Yeah.
You get an answer to whatever your question is within 24 hours. But that answer might be, I need a couple of days. And that is in almost all circumstances reasonable. And you just need acknowledgement. Every human beings just need to be acknowledged. So saying, received, I will look at that. That is almost always a good enough response, because the person is not wondering. And oftentimes it's not just like, is that person going to do it? It's, did I send that? And then feeling like, but I did send it. Why haven't they replied? And sometimes it's looking internally and saying, did I do that? And then realizing you did. And then suddenly like, but why haven't I got a reply? Whereas if you just hit respond and say, I'm going to get to it, that person knows in their brain, they've gotten to it, they're going to get to it.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
I think, sorry, Candice, on that, just in terms of, because I feel the same way, have I actually sent it? Because if I'm asking you to action something, it's something that I need to look at again. I need to be looking out for, whatever it is that we're working on. So in the back of my mind, if you haven't acknowledged that you've received it, that's still sitting at, I'm thinking, okay, I need to get back to this. I need to make sure, did they actually get it? I wonder if they're going to do it. I set a due date, especially for an item that might need to be addressed. It's a bit lengthy in terms of what's required, so I only need it by next week. As the person sending it out, you want to know that you can clear that item from, get it out of your sort of, not just triage, but also you're occupying that brain space and say, right, the person has acknowledged it. I've conveyed what I've needed to convey. The task will get done. I'll be on the lookout for it. I only need to be on the lookout for it in a few days. I always think, what if it's genuinely missed? Because we are human. We do make, there is human error in everything. You think you're clearing a spam email, and the next minute it's actually an actionable item that anything could happen. You might just not have seen it. It's as simple as that. By responding within the 24 hours, that acknowledgement puts the person's mind at ease, and we know that something is happening. I don't have to sit and wonder, especially if, let's say, I've asked for it in 3 days' time. It's day 2 and I've heard nothing. No acknowledgement. Are you actually doing it? Have you maybe missed it? I don't want to be the person to be like, hey, so that's why I enjoy it, or I appreciate the rule, because I know for myself, it's more about me. Have I actually sent it? Did they actually receive it?
Yes, and then if somebody has a deadline for that and they've said, you can send it to me in 3 days' time, but their deadline is 4 days' time, like you said, just the acknowledgement means, okay, I know they know about it, but
Yes.
when you don't know, and they haven't assigned it to themselves, or it wasn't assigned to somebody, which ideally somebody would assign it to themselves or somebody would assign it to them, you're still sitting there wondering, shoot, are they getting this done? And is it going to be done? And you don't want to be like we're not the police, but we don't want to follow up, but we do. Just getting that reply means somebody's on it.
Even on that, where you have to, because let's say, and I just thought that there's a knock-on effect, because let's say it's 3 days. It is day 2 and you haven't acknowledged it. Now I'm panicking because I'm thinking, you've said nothing. It's due tomorrow. So I'll drop you a comment and say, just confirming that, this is underway. You could feel under pressure but you said the deadline was only tomorrow. Why are you following up now? And all of a sudden, it just becomes the lack of acknowledgement in the beginning can put both parties feeling unnecessarily spinning wheels over something that could just be cleared with the simple, noted, I have received it, see you on Friday.
Of course, and the same goes for when a team member is sending it to the account manager. They've got a deadline to meet, but they have a question or they need help with something. If they don't get an answer to that and they have a deadline, it can be very frustrating not knowing, do I ask them again? Like, I don't want to ask my account manager again or follow up with my account manager. And, like you said, humans make errors. And I have done that where I've either accidentally cleared something or assigned it to myself, and that day was just crisis after crisis, and looked at my to-do list and be like, okay, everything's good, not realizing, oh wait, I needed to do that today. And when you don't send somebody that acknowledgement, I assigned it to myself, I will get to it, but it's really awkward for somebody to follow up with an account manager when you don't want to. You also just don't want to leave it. With the time difference for us, you don't want to leave it. Just
dealing with like, do I send it? Don't I? Do I follow up? Do I leave it? Yeah. And it's a lot of unnecessary,
speculation as well.
I think if one of the principles or one of the benefits to triage is the fact that you are clearing it getting it out of this holding space. It's on a to-do list, so that you're not going through the there's not mental gymnastics each time you scanning, okay, I've addressed that one in my mind, right, okay, that I'm getting to, I'll sort that out now. All of that is just unnecessary energy that you're expending, really. And that's exactly the same as this, okay, do I follow up? I'll check back again at 2. Okay, they still haven't said anything. Should I, and it's a lot of energy. And I think coming back to these are the most basics that anybody could put together. But the impact, or rather not implementing it, is really not good for ourselves or the recipients of the information. Simple, but
absolutely,
can create
the roll-on impact.
Yeah, a lot of chaos if not adhered to.
Yes, and it's almost like a, what is the word? It has an influential impact. So I've noticed one of my clients has started doing that. So if I send them something that I need from them, they'll actually reply and say, I'm going to do this next week because this week is just a little crazy. So they're actually replying to me and saying, I'll get to this then, because they see us doing it. That's how they're feeling like they should respond, which is fantastic.
Absolutely jealous. Sounds like a great client too, because I mean that's the other thing. It is. There's a lot of not you're waiting for a response from the client. The client's not saying anything. You've got someone that is waiting for the information. They're wondering where is it? Am I getting it? Has it been requested from the client? So I think as long as we and I know a lot of the times I can think of just 2 instances where people are hesitant to adhere to the 24-hour rule. The first being, I'm gonna get to it today. No, absolutely. I'm not gonna acknowledge it. I'm just gonna hit you with a response later. And the day gets away from you. Like you said, it's crisis after crisis. All of the intention to just, I'm not gonna mention you. I'm just going to go straight to respond. There's the information you need. I can do that. That's the first instance where sometimes it falls apart and there's sort of lack of adherence to the rule. But the second instance is also where can't do it today. And that is in general where I think our communication, just from a broad perspective, takes a knock. There's a reason why communication dips as well when we're busy. And a lot of that is, I don't have the heart to tell you I can't do this today. This is awkward. I can't do it. I'm just going to not say anything and hope for the best and hope I can get it to you tomorrow. And I think that is, one of the, and I think we think that every request is 24-hour turnaround means I need to get this to you now. But the key to remember is it's not. And the earlier you communicate, I said to someone just last week, if it is unlikely that this is going to be completed by Friday, and you can tell now already, and let's say today is Monday, tell me now. So much easier to deal with. So much easier to deal with than being 50-50 on the fence with the probability that it won't get done and telling me on Thursday night when there's nothing that can be done about it then. Communicate and communicate as quick as possible. And that is what we're doing with the 24-hour turnaround rule as well. Yes, it's there to acknowledge. Yes, it's there to, we do turn things around very, very quickly. But it's also, it's like an early warning system too. Tell me now if there's going to be an issue. Because I can tell you, or I can make a plan now, if you respond to me and say, unlikely that this will get done, I at least know what's going on. So for anyone who feels that way, persevere, just send the message. I remind myself of that all the time because sometimes it's not possible. But there's no ways you're going to know that if I'm not saying anything.
And that is also the beauty of the service teams that have been developed over the last couple of months, is you have fewer people that you're accountable to, and where you do feel like, I know you need this, I should do it today, I can't do it today. You have the ability to say, this client is a priority. And when I'm feeling like, wait, but I really do need this today, it is important, I need to be able to go to Wiley, Megan, or Jose and the harvest team and say, do you have any leeway? Because I really do need this today. And like you said, the earlier you communicate, better, because that gives us a chance to figure it out internally as well.
There's actually a chance.
I don't want to go on a lateral branch here, but
true. It does. It most assuredly, that's why I say, if anything, early warning system. And most of the time, I think we know. If we are hesitant, I think we know the answer. And by that, I mean, we're on the fence about whether we're really going to finish this by tonight or tomorrow morning or whenever the case may be. I think that should tell you need to communicate instead of waiting to see how it goes, because there's always going to be something that pops up later. No. So many benefits to the 24-hour rule. I think we hear about it a lot. We discuss it a lot. Lots of reminders going about, and especially going into the busy time when it's most needed. Obviously, with that said, it is time to get the spotlight onto the team, and we've got Ashley and Megan who are going to share their thoughts on the 24-hour rule. So over to them.
There are multiple reasons that I like the 24-hour rule, and I like to think of them in two different buckets. One, externally with our clients, and two, internally within the team. So to start with clients, when we abide by the 24-hour rule, clients feel like they're being attended to, and it really is okay to say, message received, we're working on it, and we'll get back to you. Not necessarily that every question has been answered or the project completed. It's always best if you can provide an estimated date of when it will be attended to, but at bare minimum, letting the client know that the message has been received. Abiding by the 24-hour rule also creates an agreed upon expectation, and I like to think of this kind of in the reverse, meaning that there are very few instances where an email needs to be responded to immediately. But a client has the reassurance that if they do send a message, they won't get a message right away, but they are going to get a message within 24 business hours, which creates a trust and allows for a collaborative working relationship. Now, internally with the team, abiding by the 24-hour rule shows to everyone that timeliness with our work is important, and it's important for all the work that we're doing and all the projects that we're working on. And like our clients, it's okay to say, received, working on it, and communicating if the guidelines and the deadlines can be met, which brings me to the last reason, and what I find to be the most important reason why the 24-hour rule is great to have in place, which it gives the opportunity to communicate expectations specifically around deadlines and priorities. So, for example, if an email is responded to within 24 hours about a deadline that's a week out, responding within the 24 hours allows for communication to be had, whether the deadline can either be pushed out or if priorities need to be moved or, shifted around. If you respond at the week deadline, usually it creates a lot of stress, and it makes it so that things have to be shifted or other people have to end up doing it, where if it was communicated early, it would alleviate that. So always remember to communicate early and communicate often.
Hi, Protea team. I come to you today to talk about the three main reasons why I like the 24-hour rule. The first one is it's respectful. It's respectful to acknowledge the communication. Nobody likes to feel ignored, and it's something I actually try to instill in my 8-year-old painfully shy daughter, that when she's spoken to, she needs to acknowledge that receipt by saying something, whether it doesn't have to be a full-blown conversation, it could be just one word, but she can't ignore somebody that's talking to her. The second reason is it doesn't leave anyone wondering, like, did they even receive the email? Are they gonna look at it soon, or is it gonna take a week? Just a quick acknowledgement and time frame of like when you might get to it just puts everybody at ease. And the third reason is having the 24-hour rule with clients is one thing I truly believe sets us apart from other accounting firms, which could also lead to referrals from those clients to new potential clients. So let's all keep up the great work and benefit from following the 24-hour rule. Thanks.